clouds appeared at my apartments. I have 1,000 videos. The clouds started coming at my apartments, and then they followed me to my home.
Hello?
How old are you?
19.
Great. What's your evidence for God?
I got a question. Do you believe that Jesus could possibly be an actual person that walked the earth at some point?
Yeah, I mean, I know many Jesuses. I know many of them.
I'm talking about the one that claims to, come from the kingdom of God.
Yeah, Charles Manson claimed he comes from the kingdom of God too.
Okay,
I don't care if you claim.
But here's my argument.
Of course,
Mike.
some guy can exist. Some bum like Jesus could exist. I'm asking for evidence of a God.
How you're not letting me talk? How would a God outside of time, space, and matter prove himself to people that are bound to these things?
How do you know that God is outside of space, time, and matter?
Because if you have a creator, it just, bro, like the way that the universe is, bro, you're a very smart person, bro. I just don't believe that you.
Sir, can you answer the question, please?
That you can't prove God and you can't disprove God, and that's the thing. So
okay, sir. Can you just show me that God is outside of time, space, and matter, which is impossible? Go ahead. Can you show it?
So tell me how the universe got here then.
It didn't.
What's the argument against
it? Didn't get here. It's not like an Uber. You just go, all right, let me order a fucking universe.
That it could have always been here. It could have always been here.
Universe coming in. Did you order a universe? Here it is. Here's your universe, sir. No. The universe code could have always existed. Nobody had to order it. It wasn't nobody had to make it. Nobody had to wave a magic fucking wand. The universe could have always existed. Period. You don't need a magic man. So do you have evidence of your magic man or no?
At the end of the day, you're sitting here saying that the universe could have always been here, but where is the evidence for that?
Mathematics, right? Space and time could be infinite, as we can see them as dimensions. Time and space are spatial temporal dimensions, which mathematically speaking can be infinite in all directions.
You know what? You got it, bro.
Next. Keep tapping, guys. Please follow YouTube. All my debates on YouTube.
I did not mean to go live with you. I don't have any evidence of God, and anybody who agrees.
Thank you. Hello. Hello. Goodbye. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. Well, yeah, it seems to be that way.
Hello?
Hey, what do you got?
Hi. We don't have factual proof that God exists because God is spirit. And God is not something that are made out of hands.
Okay, great. So how do you know that spirit exists?
Listen to me. I encountered God. I was a drug addict for 10 years and I couldn't help myself. So Jesus came to my rescue. He rescued my spirit. He rescued my will from being caught up in drugs. God is spirit. We don't have any proof because the Bible said.
No, don't. Okay, I understand. I'm very happy that you got rid of your addiction. That's great. But the problem is when you say God or Jesus did it, that's a claim you're making. So how do you know that Jesus did it and wasn't just yourself or perhaps somebody else that helped you, right? Or some influence that helped you do that?
There was no any other influence.
How do you know that?
Because the angel of death came to me and he said, I am here to take your soul now. And I cry out to Jesus.
Okay, great. The angel of death came to you.
Yeah.
Was this a dream or is it real life?
It was real life. It was in daylight.
Okay. What did you really see?
I saw the angel of death.
Okay. And how do you know it was the angel of death?
His voice was so powerful, and I couldn't, and I feel that I'm going to hell. And Jesus came to my rescue, and he said, if
Okay.
you want
Okay.
to be saved,
Was he white? Was he Hispanic?
he was white.
He was white, like a white guy? Okay.
No, 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 no. I didn't see Jesus. I only saw the angel of death. But the voice of Jesus came to my rescue.
Okay. What did he sound like? Like Morgan Freeman? Like Charles
No,
Manson?
no, no, no. The Bible said the voice of God sounds like many waters. That voice was so powerful.
It
I
sounds like
couldn't
water?
resist it. Like many waters,
Many waters.
like the sea. The voice was so powerful that he came to my rescue and redeemed
Okay.
me.
So it
So
sounded
I
like
was so my
it
listen
was
to
like
me. So my
waves,
soul,
like
this is
waves
not a joke.
crashing down.
The, sorry, I'm
So it
listening.
sounds like a river.
No, it's not like a river, like the sea. That's how
Okay. So
powerful
like
God is.
like that.
No, it's not like that. It is so powerful, that voice, that you can't resist it. And that the voice of God
Yeah.
redeemed
That's what
me
your mom
and
said. Next. I can't. I just can't. Oh, everybody, please.
I just wanna, don't be rude, like I just wanna ask you one question. Is that okay? How can you possibly explain that every human has in his DNA 3.5 billion bits of information and it's all different? How could that happen?
Evolution. It's called mutations and genetics.
If evolution really exists, how could that one never happen again? And if that ever happened,
what never happened again? What do you mean?
like how can we not see a literal little progress on the animals that really did something like that? Like how can we possibly not see every bit of evolution, like just a little progress on them?
We do see changes in our DNA. We can see chromosomal fusions, genetic mutations, insertions, deletions. We can see fossil record evidence of evolution. We can see lab evidence of evolution.
Okay, then I just have to ask questions. Do you claim that the people in the Bible that are talking, that they are imaginary person, or are you claiming that they are historic person? Like I can't understand.
They seem like characters in a movie. I'm asking you for God, evidence of a God. I don't care about some people.
But if I wanna say the evidence, it will be based on the 500 people they saw him rise from the dead. Like it is on you, that's imaginary.
Okay, 5,000 people saw Bigfoot. Does that mean Bigfoot's real?
No, but 500 people. The Bible. Wait. The Bible.
I don't care about your Bible. Your Bible says donkeys can talk too, right?
Can I just say one statement? Just one statement, and that's it. If the Bible, like I'm saying the Bible, not like the persons in the Bible, is false, then how could, because Bible was upgraded from time to time, how could one person wrote something, and then person from many hundred years after him write the same or the similar thing, that the Bible verses are connecting with each other from hundreds of years ago?
There's lots of contradictions in the Bible. There's lots of mishaps and contradictions, fallacies, wrong, falsehoods. There's a lot of nonsense in the Bible, sir.
Can you name me something so I can take it as a sentence?
Donkeys, walking on water, virgin births, Noah's Ark, Adam and Eve. We can go on and on and on. But those never happened.
Okay. Thanks for the conversation.
All right, have a good day. Okay.
Hello? Can you hear me, boss?
Yeah, what do you got?
So So I just stumbled across your live when I was scrolling, um, and I guess first I want to hear your argument. You said, "Can you prove me wrong?" So why would you? How can you prove to me that God is imaginary? I guess I want to just hear your argument for that.
Number one, there's a big lack of evidence for God. That's a good reason to not believe in God. We can look at the omniparadoxes, omniscience, free will, the problem of evil, the divine hiddenness problem, free will. We can take a look at many reasons why God likely doesn't exist. But what's your evidence that it does?
I mean, as someone who does believe in God, I feel that in a sense is a little bit of an academically dishonest question. And the reason that I say that is because even if you can't prove 100% that God exists, that doesn't mean that there isn't evidence that suggests that the existence of a God may be probable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the problem is that God is ill-defined. It doesn't mean anything. That's why another reason why I'd say it's imaginary, because there's no actual definition for it that actually works.
Okay, well, when I use the term God, I'm not referencing like the God of Abraham, like the Christian God or Allah. I'm just referring to like some sort of intelligent creator of the universe.
Yeah, what's that? What's a creator?
I mean, even if you can't identify exactly what or who it was that created.
This is the crux of the problem that you're raising. You don't have a definition of God. God is not a possibility because it's not defined properly. If you say creator, what's that mean? Creation ex nihilo, ex materia? What do you mean by creation? And why does it need intelligence?
But what I mean by that is some sort of intelligent design behind the universe. I'm arguing that the cosmos is not randomly ordered.
Sir, the sun gives us cancer. Who the fuck would be intelligent and design that?
I mean, I think that's a little misleading to say that the sun gives us cancer.
Yes, it fucking does. The sun can kill. Literally, the sun can beam radiation at us and kill us.
Yeah, and the sun can also give us vitamin D, which is good for us. So
yeah, but guess what? You can get diseases. Your immune system attacks itself, right? There's a plethora of examples in nature that are just fucked up.
I mean, I don't think
we have one hole to eat and breathe from. People choke to death on their food every year. How the fuck can you say that's intelligent design? That's a stupid design.
I mean, just because everything isn't perfect, that doesn't mean that there isn't intelligent design. I feel like that's
the problem. How do you distinguish a designed universe between a non-designed universe? What's the difference?
Hold on, repeat the question, please.
How do you distinguish a designed universe versus a non-designed universe?
I think a designed universe would be like ordered. It would have a creator.
Okay.
It wouldn't have been randomly generated.
Okay, great. Is God orderly?
I would believe so, yes. I would say yes, because I am a religious person.
By your definition, God is designed, right? This is how bad your argument is. It collapses in on itself because the same applies to your God. If God's designed, then we can go on forever, ad infinitum. We could go.
I mean, I believe that God orders himself. I think you need a first creator. I feel like you need something like that. The universe could not have just randomly spawned. Everything in the universe.
That's a straw man. We never said the universe randomly spawned. That's what you think. You think one day a god got bored and said, poof, let there be light, and magic. It all appeared in 6 days. What we believe, what the evidence shows is that the universe could have always existed in some way. It doesn't need a start or a beginning or a first cause.
I mean, I don't know if that's I don't think that's necessarily true either because like what about like I think it is theorized that the universe did have a beginning. There was some sort of like Big Bang. That's not even like a religious argument.
Not a beginning. That's not a beginning.
So how is that not a beginning? How is that not a beginning?
The Big Bang is merely the expansion of a pre-existing space. Right? That's all that Big Bang means. It is not the beginning of anything. But even if it was a beginning, right, the local universe you know of, it doesn't mean that there can't be something before the Big Bang that was eternally there, which could be a quantum state or quantum field, which are more scientifically backed than some magic wizard from outer space that made us from clay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still don't see how you've proven that it's likely that that isn't the case, that there isn't a God.
Because you haven't defined it yet. What is a God?
I feel like I've already answered that. I feel like a God would just be like a creator of
Okay, great. So creator, what's a creator? What is that?
someone who designed and conceptualized the universe.
What's a design versus a non-design? What's the difference?
I mean, I feel like the fact that that existence is even real, that life can exist, within itself almost implies that there has to be some sort of design.
Look,
I can't comprehend.
Look, hold on. Look. Is everything in the universe designed?
Yes, I think so.
Great. So everything's designed. If you think everything's designed from a human being to a grain of sand, how can you possibly distinguish a design from a non-design when you can see you don't have one? You don't have a counterfactual to compare, contrast, and break the symmetry between these two hypotheses, right? And one hypothesis is a natural universe. We are natural, there's no designer, versus a universe where there is a designer. You have no distinguishing factor.
Well, I feel like everything that we can observe in the universe, like that I can think of, we can identify that it comes from something. So I just don't see why the universe wouldn't follow that.
No, stop. Nothing just pops into existence. That never happens. Nothing ever just comes from something. That's stupid, right? But if you're going to say this, we can just say this to God. Where did God come from? At some point, there has to be something eternal. We can both agree there's something like that has to exist, but it could be the universe itself. The universe itself could have always existed in some way. And the order that we see around us can also be natural. Order comes from chaos all the time in nature. Gravity, the nuclear force, the weak force. These things can yield order from chaos.
I don't know. In a sense, it almost seems like we're in agreement but disagreement, because it's almost like you're almost like saying like the universe is God, almost like if the universe.
No, that's what you're saying.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just kind of misunderstanding your argument.
The point is that you have not shown that God explains anything more than I can explain with a natural hypothesis, right? A universe where there's no God. It's the same thing as your hypothesis of our universe with a God. There's no difference. So adding God doesn't solve anything for you.
Yeah, but in the same way, I can't prove to you 100% that God exists. You can't do the contrary.
That's not my fucking problem. That's your problem. So either give me evidence or go away.
It sounds like it's your problem because you're saying like God is imaginary. How can you say God is imaginary 100%?
Because
I don't see how you can.
Certain definitions of God are illogical, like a God who loves everybody but burns them or sends them to hell or floods them in a flood. There are reasons that we can disprove gods under certain definitions. So if you believe in the Christian God, we know that God can't exist. It's too dumb to exist. It's too evil to exist. See, that's the problem.
So why would
certain definitions of God can't exist because of logic?
Why would you say it's too dumb and too evil to exist?
Because no intelligent designer would ever design one hole to eat and breathe from, and an immune system that attacks itself and kills itself, or a sun that burns and kills its inhabitants on the planet. That is not a good design at all.
I don't know. I think you feel like there has for it to be a good design, it has to be perfect, and I disagree.
What's perfect?
I don't know, like what you're saying, like the human body.
That's the problem. You don't know what perfect.
I don't think that's necessary.
What's perfect? What's a perfect design look like to you?
I mean, I'm just going based off what your argument about like we eat and breathe from one hole. Like
what's a perfect person look like? What's a perfect human look like?
I don't think perfect humans exist.
Exactly. So if we don't have an idea of what perfection is, how can you say that it's designed to be perfect?
I'm not. You're claiming that the Christian God couldn't exist because his design is imperfect, and I wouldn't even label it as imperfect.
What I'm saying is that there are flaws clearly in our physiology, which can be easily remedied by simple procedures, right? LASIK surgery can fix our eyes. We have surgery, medicine can fix diseases. The fact that mere apes like we can fix our bodies better than nature can, that tells me all we need to know about your God. It is not omnipotent or omniscient for sure, because your God could obviously do way better than what we see today, right? The human body could be vastly improved on, which hints to a God who's incompetent when it comes to his design.
Well, couldn't you make the argument, like when you say like we have procedures like LASIK surgery and other procedures that could remedy physical ailments and improve people's lives? Well, I believe you could make the argument that the fact that people can do that in the first place, the fact that we can do that, implies that it is from nature. We are a part of nature. That is a part of God's creation. Like I don't.
No,
I don't really
now you're question begging. How do you know that this is God's creation and not just a natural universe without God?
I mean, why do I? Why the reason I believe what I believe is
No. How do you know? What's the evidence that this is design?
I can't give you 100% evidence, but I think it's reasonable to have faith, like based on.
No,
the
it is
evidence
not.
provided by Scripture.
Faith is never reasonable. Faith is dishonesty. The point is that you are saying, look around us. We're alive. We're breathing. Wow, that's amazing. There has to be somebody behind it. It's so complex and orderly. But what I'm trying to tell you is that we can explain the same things you're observing through naturalism. Evolution, natural selection, explains why we are orderly. Gravity, the nuclear force, the weak force, all explain why we are orderly. You never need God to explain things that science can without God.
I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily. I don't think that's academically honest, because there's a lot of things that we cannot reconcile with science yet.
Like what?
Okay, well here, how about quantum mechanics? Like that's like right there, like literally like quantum entanglement.
What about
is
it?
So, like,
What about it can science not explain, but you can explain with God?
I'm saying, like, wouldn't it be logical that if something can't be explained, and that's not really necessarily a good example, because maybe eventually science will be able to explain it, but I think it's reasonable to assume that there may be things in the universe that, like, for example, like you mentioned free will earlier, like I don't think you can prove that the human, like, neurochemistry is completely deterministic. I don't think that can be proved. I don't think there's.
The point is that we have good reasons to think it is determined. The laws of nature and neuroscience is, the consensus among neuroscientists is that, yeah, we don't have free will. But more importantly, just because there's something in science that we can't fully understand doesn't mean you get to fill in the gaps with God.
I don't think that's
fallacy.
I don't think that's necessarily true. That the consensus in neuroscience is that there is no choice. I think there are a lot of
there is choice, but it's not free choice. That's not what I said. I said there's no free will. There's no free agency here. But that's besides the point. The point I'm trying to tell you is that there's nothing that adding God to the equation can explain that science can't. And just because there might be gaps in our knowledge, it doesn't mean that God exists at all. You have no further explanatory power over a naturalist here at all.
I mean, again, like I said before, I understand what you're saying. Like, I understand your arguments, but I don't. I haven't really seen how you can. Like, I haven't really seen how you can suggest or prove that it's more likely that God doesn't exist versus that he does. I haven't seen it.
Because it's the illogical inconsistencies in most versions of God, right? If you say God's intelligent designer, and we look around at our bodies and they're terribly designed, they're terribly made in that we can improve on them, that's evidence that your God's probably not.
But why would you say the body's terribly designed?
Because people choke to death on their fucking food. That's a terrible design.
Like, couldn't it be possible that it was intentional?
I just explained this to you, sir, that we go outside and we get cancer if we go out too long. That's a bad design.
Couldn't it be possible? Couldn't it be possible
every day to survive? We sleep 8 hours a day. A third of our lives are wasted by sitting on a bed doing nothing for 8 hours. That's stupid. That's a stupid design.
I don't know. I don't. I think because I don't. I think. I don't think because like human beings like have like certain like evolutionary flaws. I don't think that makes it that God, the existence of a God is unlikely. I think that could be a part of
Yes, it
God's creation.
does. Yes, it does. Because if God existed, who has omniscience and omnipotence and can do anything and can create anything it wants to, why would it create a universe like this where we are barely hanging on and that 99% of all life that has ever existed is now extinct? Where thousands and millions of people starve to death. They don't have food, water, all these things, animal suffering. Look at all the harshness in nature inherent to it, right? Animals suffer all the time in nature. Volcanoes and meteors and gamma ray bursts and supernova explosions. A lot of bad things have happened. And if you purport your God to be very good, why would it make a universe like this, which is very bad, beyond our ability to choose it? Right? Inherent in nature, embedded within nature itself, is a lot of harshness that you can't account for, but I can.
I don't know, but how can good exist in a universe where bad things don't exist? I don't see a world where things
Is
like
God
natural disasters happen and human beings can like develop illnesses. I don't see that as like I think that could be an intentional part of God's creation. I honestly believe that.
Oh, really? So you're saying that all the bad things are part of God's plan?
I think the bad. I think. I think human beings. I think. What? Hold on. What do you? Can you like expand on your question? What do you mean?
You think every bad action, every rape, every murder, is that all part of God's plan?
I think human beings' free will is a part of God's plan.
Okay.
I think
How
that's a
about
part
a
of God's
tornado?
divine
How about
providence.
a tornado? Do humans choose to have tornadoes come by and destroy their house?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, great. So free will is relevant there, right? So who's making their tornado come by? Is that part of God's plan to have their tornado come by and smash their houses?
I don't know. I think just because bad things can happen to people, like I don't think that voids the existence of a God. I think there has to
Well,
there
that's
ha,
the
there, ha,
point.
there
But
has
this is
to
the
there has
problem. This is the point you
bad
just
things are
told
going
me.
to happen to
So,
certain people.
sir,
It's
this
just
is the
it's a
problem.
part
You
of
just
life.
told me that all the bad actions are part of God's plan. There's a reason why bad things happen to make us understand the good. By your logic, you think tornadoes killing, destroying people is good because it's part of God's plan. You must agree
I
with
don't
this.
think
If
it's
not, then
I wouldn't say
you're
it's
left with
good.
an empty hole that has
I
to be
wouldn't
filled with
I
something.
wouldn't say it's good, but I think it's just a part of God's creation. I think I
Tornadoes,
think
tornadoes.
because like here when you think about like the cause of a tornado or the cause of a natural disaster, that's just like there's like like reasons for that like based on like science and like the environment like and I think
Yeah, and there's no reason in God. There's no
like
reason why God would do that.
I disagree and I don't think that
Okay, why would
I don't
God
think
have? Why would
I don't
God
think
make
that
a tornado?
contradicts the
Okay,
Christian religion.
sir, listen. Why would a God make a tornado come by and kill multiple people? Why would God do that?
I don't think God is making the tornado come by and kill people.
Great. So then why would he allow it? Why wouldn't he stop it?
I don't know. I think God can allow bad things to happen, and I don't think that
Okay,
contradicts.
great.
I don't think that contradicts my faith.
Great. So now you're saying God allows all bad things to happen, right? So every tornado that comes by, God just sits back and allows it to happen and kill people?
I mean, I mean, that goes back to what I was saying before. Like, unfortunate things can happen to good people. Like, for not because
Yeah.
of another
But
human
the
being.
problem, sir, the problem is that if I'm omnipotent, if I am all powerful, and if I'm loving, see, I would stop and prevent evil things from happening. That's what a loving being really does, right? A loving being stops and looks out for the creation. It would never just sit back, even though it could save that person, and just do nothing about it. Is that loving to you to sit back and watch your creation die for no reason? Is that
I don't know.
loving?
I don't know. I feel like that's a little.
No, it's not loving,
I think it's
sir.
misleading.
Okay, how
I
about
think you're
this?
phrasing that in a misleading way.
Okay, great. How about a parent who is watching their child run into the road, into a car, who was about to get hit by a car, would the father be loving for him to just sit back and do nothing about it? Would that be a loving action?
No, but I don't think that's a great
Great.
analogy.
So then you agree that it would be loving for God to intervene and save the kid from getting hit by the car, right?
No, I think when I think about the premise of my faith, if something evil happens to somebody, and it's like something purely like environmental that happens to somebody, if that person is living a good life in accordance with the ideals and morals of my faith, then I believe that person's going to be saved. They're immediately going to be taken to somewhere better. So if that's the case,
okay.
I don't think I don't think that's a good analogy.
Okay, great. So whenever something bad happens to somebody, they're going to be saved automatically.
I mean, depending on if that person lived a life like in accordance with like the morals and teachings, of my faith.
Great. So every person that's murdered or raped, they're going to go to heaven if they were a good Christian?
Well, every person who's committed in those crimes? Is that what you're asking?
No. How about that? Here's a better example. Every baby, right? How about a baby that dies of cancer? Is that baby going to go to heaven?
Yes.
Okay. So what you're saying is that every time a baby dies, they go right to heaven?
Yes.
Wow. So why wouldn't we just suddenly destroy all the babies? This way they all go to heaven. This way they're guaranteed heaven.
Because they're dying.
Wouldn't it make sense to just kill all? Wouldn't it make sense to kill all the babies so they go to heaven?
No, that's not a good argument at all. I think that's not a good argument because
why not? Why not? That's the key to heaven. You just kill a baby and they go right to heaven.
Because that would require a murder, which is seen as immoral.
No, but it's not a murder because they're going to go to heaven. They're going to be in a better place. Why would it be a murder when they're going into a better place?
Just if like a person was to kill a baby, that baby's still going to go to heaven. That doesn't mean that man should have killed that baby. What is that? What is
why
that
not? But why not? If that was a better choice for that person to do, right? They're going to go to heaven for that choice. Why would we not be able? Why would that be a bad action?
The teachings of my faith say that it's not up to human beings to dictate who lives and who dies.
But this is what your logic says. This is what your logic says. Your logic says we ought to kill babies because they go to heaven. This is your little logic.
Yeah, but you're not conceding that there's a literal flaw in that argument. Is that
where's the flaw?
It's not ethical to murder people. You're missing that whole.
Even if I were to say that, okay, great. But guess what? It doesn't make it wrong for them to go to heaven, right? It's still a better outcome. So I'll sacrifice myself, right?
What do you mean
I'll murder. But if the babies go to heaven, by your logic as a Christian, that's the better option to take. Because isn't heaven better than this life?
I mean, heaven is better than this life, but we still believe that that we have a purpose to live our lives here before that. Like that's the same reason we believe that suicide is.
Yeah, but the problem is that.
We literally have teachings that explain that. Like we don't believe everyone should just commit suicide because they'll go straight to heaven. Because humans, it's not up to humans to dictate who lives and who dies. It's a part of our faith.
Why not? Why, if you think that babies go to heaven directly, why would it be bad to kill them?
I think God knew that it was important to literally make it part of our faith.
Answer the question directly. If babies die and they go to heaven directly, why would it be bad to kill them?
Because it would be bad to set a precedent where humans could take other humans' lives.
Okay. I understand that we're taking the life, but the point is that it's not a bad thing because they're going to go to heaven, which is a better life for them. We're doing them a favor.
It's a bad thing for.
Why is it bad if they're going to go to heaven?
It's bad because it requires a human being.
Sir, why is it bad if they're going to go to heaven?
Because the person who's killing the child is going to go to hell. They're committing a murder, and it requires a murder.
Oh, okay. That person may go to hell, but that baby's going to go to heaven, so that would be a good action.
This
is the point, right? This is the point you're missing. This is why your Christian morality is so fucked up, because you are literally trying to justify babies dying and going to heaven automatically. You're trying to justify this.
What do you mean justify? Justify what?
You're arguing for babies to go to heaven by being killed.
I'm not really the argument's not clicking for me, man. I really can't. I really
Oh
can't.
my God.
I can't understand.
This is the last time I'm going to say this. You think babies go to heaven, right, when they die?
Yes.
Okay, great. Is heaven better than this life?
Yes.
Okay. So if I killed a baby, it would be a good action for me to kill that baby. This way they go to heaven, right?
Not for you.
But
Not for you
baby,
killing the baby.
But for the baby, it's good. Right? For the baby, it's good, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's good necessarily, because that baby could have lived a life where it could have, helped many people on earth. But the baby, yes, I agree, the baby's going to be taken to a better existence than
Would it be good to kill the baby or not?
No.
Great. So now there's a contradiction. Now you think it's good to go to heaven, but it's wrong to have a baby go to heaven. There's a contradiction.
It's good to go to heaven on God's terms.
Oh, okay. On God's terms. Why?
Not a human being murder a human being. That's why.
Why?
That's
Why
like
do
one
we
of
have
the
to wait for
pillars of
God's
Christian
terms?
teaching.
Why don't we have
Shall
free will? Are you saying we don't have free will to choose our destiny? That we have to wait for God to do it?
What? When did I say that? How does my argument imply that?
Because you're saying that our death is up to God.
Yes.
So we don't have free will.
I mean, there could still be choice present and the influence of God's divine providence. I
can't choose when I die. I can't choose when I die. We have to wait for God.
Yes, the church teaches that you're not supposed to kill people, and
That's not what I said. That's not what I fucking said, sir.
That's contradictory, because
that's not what I said. Listen very carefully. Last fucking time, you said that we don't control when we die. Only it's up to God. If that's the case, I don't have the free will to kill myself. I don't have the free will to do anything, because now I can't kill anybody on my free will. We have to wait for God to do it.
I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you're incapable. You absolutely can kill yourself.
Great.
You can kill a baby. You have the choice to do those things.
Sir, stop. You just said that I can't do that, and now you're saying I can do it.
I'm saying you shouldn't do that. I'm saying you're capable, but you shouldn't. You're trying to twist my words.
Okay, great. So I shouldn't do it. I can concede to that, but the problem remains. It's still a good thing for that baby to go to heaven. It's good to kill that baby so it goes to heaven by your logic.
I don't know. I think we're going in circles here, man. I don't agree with your argument.
You can't. So what's the answer?
Do you want to keep going in circles? I feel like I've already explained.
What's the circle? You have.
What do you want me to? What do you want? Here, do you want me to explain why I think we shouldn't kill people, yet we have the ability to?
No, that's not what you're not understanding, sir. I know it's bad to kill people. That's irrelevant, though. I'm saying the fact that baby goes to heaven when it dies, that is a better outcome than one where it didn't die. That's the point.
Yeah, but the fact that a human being is dictating that outcome is what's flawed. And I feel like my faith...
That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant, sir.
How is that irrelevant? I feel like that's beyond relevant.
It is irrelevant because I understand that you would think it's wrong for that person to do that. It's murder. But the point is that it is a better outcome for the baby. So by your logic, it will be better to kill babies. This way they go to heaven. Whether it's murder or not, the point remains that it's better for babies to die.
Okay, I'll say this before I hop off here. I'll say this. I think that it would not be better because I think it's the reason that it's part of the faith. The reason that the faith teaches you shall not kill is because that would set I think the reason God intended that would set a bad precedent for humankind. How would that be conducive to human development?
They go to heaven. They go to heaven right away.
Kill one another.
Sir, is it a better world?
Just because heaven is better, that doesn't mean
Stop. Would it be better? Would the world be better if everybody went to heaven? Would that be a better world?
Yes.
Great. then by your logic, whenever somebody is born, we should kill them immediately. This way they get to heaven. That would be a better world for them.
We're going in circles here, dog. Like, I mean, you're not. I feel like you're not even allowing me to like.
All right,
to
have a good day, sir. You obviously can't track with the logic. All right, guys, keep tapping. Please subscribe to the YouTube.
Hello?
Hey, what do you got?
Hi, so I kind of heard your argument before with this other guy. I think you're dealing with Christian concepts of God and all this other stuff, so I'm just wondering why you think God is imaginary if there's no evidence that proves for him to be imaginary.
There is, right? The omniparadoxes, the problem of evil, divine hiddenness. These are all logical reasons why God doesn't exist.
Right,
So
but it's
you have
all
evidence for God now.
well, it's rational in a sense that if this is a rational universe, then good and bad will exist. If he interferes, then we don't have free will.
Right, but God could have made a universe where we all have free will but never choose wrong.
That's not free will.
Okay, great. So does God have free will?
Well, yeah, we all have free will. Everybody.
Okay, does God ever... Great. Does God ever choose wrong with his free will?
What would you define as wrong?
Sir, where I'm taking your definition of wrong, right? Like stealing, murder, all the above.
Right.
Does God ever choose wrong to you?
I mean, he says that he doesn't in the Tanakh, the Bible, but I mean, I don't think we've seen him choose wrong, so I can't say he has chosen wrong.
Okay, great. So God never chooses wrong, but he has free will. So clearly you think it's possible that we can have free will and never do wrong.
Yeah, if you choose to not be a bad person, you can
Right,
have
great.
free will.
So God could have created a world where we all have free will and never choose wrong.
Right, but then again, like humans are different. We're all unique, so we all have different.
Okay, are you driving? Are you driving?
I'm a passenger right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it too loud or?
So the point is that God could have made a world where we have free will and we only choose good with our free will. Hence, there would be no evil. So why didn't God make that world?
So the point of the Torah, something that Christians don't understand, is that we are supposed to, become good ourselves, like develop and become a good, unite basically. And
yeah, that's a dumb theodicy, right? Because did God have to become good? He was just good from the get-go, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had to.
Yeah, God was always good. So why would we have to become good? Like some kind of like game or game show. We could have just been good from the get-go, and we could have been in heaven from the beginning. We never had to be here.
Well, heaven isn't a concept. It's just an invention of Christianity. There's no mentions of heaven in the Hebrew text. In the Hebrew text, it's all about...
The point remains. The point is that God could have made a world where we never do wrong, and we still have free will, just like God. Right, God could have made copies of himself. That's it.
Right, but he didn't, and we're in the situation that we are now.
Yeah, this is the problem. Why didn't he do that? Why did he choose a world where there's evil?
I mean, I don't know how to answer that question because people are gonna, that I wouldn't call it free will if we all just chose to be good. I mean, it would be an issue.
Why not? Then by your definition, God doesn't have free will because he always chooses good.
What do you mean? He's unalived wicked people. Like, I don't know if you would call that good or bad. I mean, so how, is it more satisfying to become good, to grow, or is it just right off the bat?
Sir, is God the most powerful, best, amazing being ever?
Well, he's all powerful, yeah, all knowing.
Okay, great. So then, did God have to go through a series of events and become better over time? No, right?
No, not that we know of.
Great. So God was good from the beginning. Why couldn't God make us good from the beginning?
Well, we don't know if he was good from the beginning. He could have had some issues to start off with. There is youth.
So God wasn't perfect. So God's not perfect.
Well, How do you define perfection? Is perfection all good and all loving?
Oh my
That's
God.
not perfection.
That's perfection?
That's not perfection.
Okay, what's perfection mean to you?
It's a mixture of all things. It's a mixture of everything. A mixture of good, a mixture of evil, a mixture of, it's a mixture.
Evil's perfect? Evil's perfect.
A mixture of a balance of everything is perfection.
So a little bit of grape, a little bit of murder, that's perfect to you?
That's all. That's just like humans. I mean, he made us in his image, right?
Sir,
We're all made in his
answer the question. A little bit of grape, a little bit of murder, is that good for you?
Are you using equivocation fallacies to try to win an argument?
Stop being fucking dishonest and answer the question.
I'm not. You are being dishonest because I'm giving
embedded within your definition of perfect, is it evil actions like grape and murder?
No, everybody has the capability of that. Every single human being.
Sir,
so, yes.
Answer my fucking question. Embedded in the definition of evil or perfect, is there evil actions like grape and murder?
Yes, there is. In perfection, okay. Yes.
Then I will never become your religion because it is never perfect to me to grape or murder. That's the reason why your God doesn't exist. He can't be considered all good because he's fucking evil. Am I perfect? Yeah. I keep tapping. Thank you for tapping. Thank you for the support.
I have a general question, bro. You've confused the hell out of me here. What God are you on about? Because there are so many gods in this world that you're saying God isn't imaginary, but out of all of them, bro, there's going to be one that say they're going to be a god, but they're going to be a demon.
Sir, can you stop and give us evidence for your God?
No. I'll admit it, no.
Okay, great. Have a good day.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah. Are you eating something?
No, I'm not. So I was gonna ask, just for your point, I'm not understanding like how you say God isn't, like if you say God is imaginary, then how can you sit and proclaim to have all this evidence against how it isn't, like how are you talking about something that doesn't exist or that is imaginary?
I'm talking about things you think exist, and I'm trying to show them show you why they're wrong, right? They're incoherent. Like an all-loving God, right? That seems to be very incoherent. Free will, omniscience seem to be incoherent. We're not talking about God here. We're talking about what you think God is, and what you think God is illogical.
So are you saying that the idea that God is only good that's the only imaginary part? That's what you're saying?
I'm saying that there are logical inconsistencies in many versions of God. Now, what's your God and what evidence do you have for it?
Well, my evidence of God is that if every religion and every culture can come together and say they have at least one God or many gods, whatever the case may be, if they have certain deities that they live by and stand by, then it has to exist to some degree. Because even if you and I don't speak the same language, the fact that we can come up with an idea.
This is embarrassing.
No, what I'm saying is,
just because we talk about, ma'am, please hold on.
How is it that so many people can say that there are prophets or there is a God, but they want to believe in
they want to believe in something good. They want to believe in some magic man who cares about them. They want to believe in prophecies. They want to believe in prophets. It feels good to believe in God. It does, but it doesn't make it true. Just because people believe in something doesn't make it true. This is an ad populum fallacy.
But what I'm saying is how is it how is it so conveniently inconsistent when it has consistently been proven that everywhere around the world they have some type of religion? People, whether they don't subscribe to something or whether they do.
Certain tribes don't have religion, but religion is a human thing. I agree with you, right? In fact, religion is something innate to many animals, like elephants and monkeys. Religion is not only a human thing; it's a brain thing. But more importantly, just because people have certain ideas about religions and animal things and all kinds of imaginations, it doesn't mean that those things are real. It means we can imagine them, And that's just proving my point here, that people tend to imagine things, but there's no evidence for them being real. That's the problem.
So then where do so then my question then would be, how, if you imagine something, where is that coming from then? If you're saying if you're saying it's imaginary, then where does it come from? Where is your proof of where does it come from, or what is your explanation?
The brain is a sensory is a sensory filter that filters in all things from the outside world. And when we look around the world, we see animals, we see the sun, the moon, we see water and trees, and our minds come up with these imaginations, right? These ideas, and we go, let's combine all these different imaginations into one concept, and let's call it God. That's what we've done as humans. We've taken all these ideas of people, emotions, and logic, and all these things, and we combine them into a God. It doesn't make it real, though. It means that it's a conglomeration of concepts that we've just labeled something God. It doesn't make it real, though.
But what I'm saying is not everywhere over the world, like there are many different languages. Not everyone calls it the same thing, or not everyone thinks of these, like not all the prophets are the same thing. So what I'm saying is if consciousness can have a collective imagination and you can reach to other people around the world, then how is that possible?
What do you mean reach around people? That doesn't make any sense. Our consciousness doesn't reach each other. That's ridiculous.
Right.
We just share similar beliefs because we have similar brain structures.
Okay, so let's say, for example, I'm Christian and I have these imaginations, what you're calling, about God and stuff like this, or maybe things happen in my life, miracles, as some people would say. They happen. Someone else across the world may be Catholic, or they may be Muslim, whatever the case may be. If they have similar imaginations that have something to do with a spirit, a God, religion, like I'm saying, then what is the explanation behind that then?
The brain, imagination. What explains all these different religions, which have all been debunked and are false, is our imaginations, our ignorance combined with our imaginations, our ability to learn and question things and imagine. That's what religion is.
So how can everyone's mind or everyone's brain come up with an idea whether God or is not real?
Because we can imagine things like God. It's that simple. We all have similar brain structures.
Okay, well, I guess that's it.
Guys, I understand it's appealing to look around you in the world we live in today, and there's billions of people who believe in God. And you're going, wow, why do so many people believe in God? Wow, how can that be? There must be something true to it. Okay, but the problem is that we know why these beliefs in God have evolved. If you understand the history of religions, you recognize that not only do animals have forms of a religion, but it's innate to our human being, because we love to look at the stars and go, what is that? Think about it. For thousands of years, our ancestors were wandering around the plains of Africa, looking up at night and going, what is this? They didn't know what the stars were. They thought there were lamps in the sky. They thought there were fires in the sky. They didn't know that they were stars. They saw the moon and thought it was a big circle. Right? They didn't know what it was. They didn't know there was actual spherical thing. They didn't know what the sun was. They didn't know what these things were. So we love to personify things. We love to make things human. It's the way we communicate. It's the way we learn. It's the way we teach each other through story, imagination. And we combine those and we get religion. That's what explains it better than, oh, there must be some truth to it because a billion people believe it. It also feels good to believe in God. It feels good to have a religion and share a church together, a congregation where everybody goes and they all do the same rituals. It feels good to be part of something. It does. It's part of our being to be connected to each other. The problem is that there's no good truth to it. It's fun, but it's not true. And that's what we care about today. The truth. Things change. Get used to it. The world changes. Ideas get debunked. We learn. That's what progress is all about. That's the most underlying thing we care about. Progress. Hey, what do you got?
Hey, Mike, how are you? I was a little confused by something you said earlier, saying that we're taking a lot of things and just kind of, explaining them or putting them under the concept of God. First of all, I just want to say I'm not Christian. I grew up like barely Jewish, and this is my understanding.
Okay, do you have an argument for God or not?
Yeah. So I think, there are these abstract things in my life, like the concept of love, of justice, of friendship, these like positive things in my life that are abstract, that are not tangible, but I still think are very real. And I kind of would ascribe them to being those are God, or those come from God, or whatever it is, that impulse that's behind them. I would say that is God. I don't think it's like a person. I think God is not like a man or a woman, but it's a very...
Right.
It's some kind of entity, I suppose.
Right. Yeah. So this has been something that we also do as people. For thousands of years, people said that there was some kind of soul behind our being, right? There's something about a soul going into our bodies, making us alive, right? Giving us the energy, the breath of life. That's what a soul means in Latin. And this is what people believed for thousands of years, until we learned that there was no soul or force making us alive. Life is an emergent property of matter. Inanimate matter can become alive through a series of chemical processes. And that's what life is. Life is a process. Just like consciousness is an emergent process from fundamental matter. So when you say love, or all these things that you think are abstract and beyond physical, well, we can still ground them in something physical, because there is no one molecule of love. You're not going to find a molecule of love. That's not real. What we refer to when we say love are those series of chemical sequences happening in our brains, oxytocin, dopamine, all these things. These molecules, the amazingly complex compounds, they come together chemically and yield this experience we call love. The experience is amazing, but it's still physical. You never have to invoke something supernatural to explain it. So I know it's appealing to think that there's something supernatural, but I'm sorry, there is no evidence of that.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for taking the time to explain, Mike.
Yeah. Have a good day.
You too.
Stay curious and keep learning. Hey, what do you got?
Yo.
What's your argument for God?
I just gotta say this. You got nicknames? Yeah.
Well, your mom has some for me, yeah.
No, I mean like nicknames. Like, do people call you like nicknames? You know what I'm talking about. Come on.
Do you have an argument for God now, or what?
Yeah, I know. I'm asking you a question.
No, I don't have nicknames, sir. I'm not 12. Do you have an argument for God now?
Well, I'm just gonna tell you, Jesus loved you. Okay. All right. I have to say that Jesus loved you.
Does he love you enough to not send me to hell?
You know what? It's like if you break the law. You break God's law, he's the highest law there is. So
okay.
That's the thing. You can't go to the airport, commit a crime, and be like, hey, you can't send me to jail.
So what's the crime? What crime am I committing?
The crime you committing is going against God. That is,
How am I going against God?
Well, first of all, you got a lowercase g. You're already calling him like one of these false gods already. Because at first, I don't know what guy you're talking about. What guy are you talking about?
So the crime I'm committing that deserves eternal punishment is that I used an undercase letter for God's name. That deserves eternal torture?
Yeah, I mean, you got to put God. God's the big G, man. You got to respect him.
You're saying I should be tortured forever because I forgot to use the uppercase letter.
But hold on. Hell, first of all, hell was intended
Sir,
for
answer the
us.
question. Answer the question. Do you really think I deserve to be punished forever in fire because I didn't use a proper spelling?
First of all, I'm not talking about that. But you know what? It's God. He can judge you. I can't judge you on that. He can judge.
You're being very dishonest, and it's not your fault. It's your religion's fault.
No, it's not religion either. I'm not. It's not Christianity. I'm not that. I'm a follower of Jesus. God never said be Christian. He says be holy.
That's Christianity. That's why Christ is in the name.
Listen, it's called a follower of Jesus. That's what I am. I'm not Christian. That's something that the enemy made up.
Belief in Jesus.
Okay, hold on. Can I talk and you talk? You got to understand the principalities, okay? There's a lot of evil works out here, okay? There's a lot of demons, which are angels, that are fallen angels. There's so much stuff in the world.
That's a demon.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it is.
All right, sir, do you have a logical argument for God? Or
but I would just, so you don't want to talk about it no more?
I asked you for an argument. Do you have one?
We're talking right now. And I'm not arguing with you. You can believe, you have every right to believe whatever you want to believe.
You know what an argument is?
Listen, you have every right to believe what you want to believe.
No, I don't. I don't believe what I want to believe. That's dishonesty. I don't just go, do I want to believe in unicorns today or magic leprechauns? Leprechauns. No, I don't do that. That is dishonest. The evidence determines what I believe in because I'm honest. The evidence convinces me of what is true because it supports the belief. That's the point. I don't just choose to believe. I look at the evidence. So choosing to believe in something is dishonest because you're doing it regardless if there's evidence or not. And that's the problem with faith. It's dishonest.
Sorry, I was inside. Can you hear me?
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born?
I was born in 03, bro. So, hey, I'm just trying to tell you.
He's been 18 for 2 years now. Wow. He's an old 18-year-old. Hey, what do you got?
Hey man, so I just had a question. So like for example, when it comes to like, you know, they say that like Jesus like walked the earth like way back then, and you know, people might have evidence, people might not have evidence. When it comes to like, for example, like just an example, like a really old president, and people were like, we've seen this man talk, we've seen him walk. I could sit here and say like, you know, but I haven't seen him. Like how do I know that your evidence is
Eric,
like,
can you just give me evidence that God exists, please?
Okay, I'll try to give you evidence. So in the Bible, it prophesied that the Euphrates River would dry up. And the Euphrates River is drying up. And so like
it always does that every season. Like this isn't something new, right? Like literally all rivers dry up. It's a natural cyclical process of meteorology. There's no river that hasn't dried up. Like every fucking river does. But more importantly, just because the Bible got something right by chance doesn't mean it's everything else in the Bible's correct, right? How about all the examples of the Bible where it gets things wrong, like talking donkeys, talking snakes, Adam and Eve, Noah's Ark, right? These things never happened. How can you possibly use the Bible as a source when it's just a story?
Well, that's kind of like what I'm going back to. Like, there's people, like, in, like, you know, you're saying the Bible is like, it's not good evidence, but like, that's why I said, like, there's people that said that they've seen Jesus, like, walk the earth. And that's what I'm saying. Like, people have seen, like,
people have seen Bigfoot. People have seen, you know, my mom. You know, who cares?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's people that say, like old presidents, old historical figures, like, they've seen them walk, they've seen them talk. But it's like, how do I know that's true? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the question of the century. How do you know that what you believe is true? And how do we falsify their claims of seeing Elvis or seeing Jesus? How do we know? How do we know that these things are true?
That's what I'm asking you. Like, how can someone like that says like, oh yeah, like I saw, you know, an old historical figure, that not Jesus, but just like anyone else, like Abraham Lincoln. People are like, oh yeah, Abraham Lincoln existed. Well, how do we know that? You know what I mean?
Oh, how do we know he existed? That's a different story, right? We have archaeological evidence of him. We have his body. We have his, documentation, his medals, his clothing, right? We have literally evidence of Abraham Lincoln. We have no evidence of a God, no evidence of God at all, right? Let alone Jesus, which even if I can see that Jesus existed as a person, it doesn't mean he's a God. It's a whole different claim.
Well, what about how people say like they saw him rise from the dead? Like people have like seen him, like they saw him whipped, they saw him tortured on that cross, and then 3 days later they say that his tomb was empty. Like, how do you explain that?
Perhaps the body was stolen. What's more likely, that Jesus rose from the dead, defying all laws of physics, and nobody else saw it, but 500 people that claim so in the book, or they just took his body and threw it off a cliff?
But there were at least what the Bible says is that there were guards like guarding that tomb, like every day, every night.
Yeah, the guards could have took his body and threw it off a cliff without anybody knowing. Isn't that more plausible than Jesus resurrecting like a fucking zombie?
I mean, it could be logical. I don't know. I think that when it comes to like things like this, it's just, I don't even know, man. Like I'm a Christian and I believe in the Lord, but like unfortunately I don't have all the answers. So yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's I appreciate your honesty. I like that you're saying I don't know. That's one of the best questions to ask. Things to say. Keep learning, right? Keep learning. All right. Keep tapping, please, and please subscribe to the YouTube. I have all my debates, all my God debates, vegan debates, science, all kinds of stuff. I have a video coming out about consciousness soon. I'm going to explain consciousness and see. I'm not going to have it's not going to be completely detailed, but general.
Okay. Now, why would there be so many religions, so many books, so many Qurans, Bibles, all of that, if there is no God in the first place?
Because people like to invent stories, right? Why would Marvel exist? Because we like to invent stories of Spider-Man and Batman and all these imaginary figures. We enjoy making stories about them. We also, in the past, didn't know much about the world. We didn't know that the Earth was round. We didn't know that the sun and the Earth orbited around, that we orbited around them. Well, the moon orbits around us. But the point is that we didn't know much about the world. And religion was a way of us producing stories, explaining to people how these things happen, and also filling these gaps in our knowledge. That's what religion did. It also helped us control people. If I give you a book of orders and say, oh, there's a God that is watching you, and if you don't follow these orders, he's going to burn you forever. That's a big, big thing to be scared about. So if you give this book to people who are unknowing about reality, they're ignorant, you can make them scared of God and hence control them very well. So all these factors play into religion and why it spread throughout time. None are hinting to a God existing.
I don't agree. Some of these stories that you're talking about are very divine or are very like people. It's called the Holy Ghost in Christianity. They catch the Holy Ghost and stuff like that. And it
The Holy Ghostbusters. The Holy Ghostbusters.
In the church, the pastor touches their forehead, brother, and read a certain scripture. They can catch the Holy Ghost. When babies are born, there's baptism.
How do I catch the ghost?
I'm not sure. I'm not like Christian. But when babies are born, oftentimes there's baptisms, and in different religions there's like Eucharist and whatever.
But I'm after truth, right? I'm after how you know these things are true. How do you know that there's a Holy Ghost? Who do I call? The Holy Ghostbusters?
The way I know that there's a Holy Ghost is because it's in the Holy Trinity. I went to a Catholic school. It's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit is it's basically like the Holy Ghost, man. Like I don't know how
How
to
do you know
explain
these
it.
things? How do you know these? Look, I'm willing to agree with you that there's a magic ghost out there, whatever the fuck it is, but you have to give me some research. You have to give me some evidence. I'm not just going to take your word for it. Like, yeah, there was a ghost, man. I saw it. Oh, really? Yeah, man. Like, I'm not going to do that. I care about truth. I'm honest. I want to know the answers. I really do. So you have to give me evidence for me to accept it. How would
Okay.
anybody believe you if you just say, yeah, I saw bejesus, I saw Snuffleupagus, I saw a dragon, he's invisible? How would you make anybody believe you if you have nothing to show for it?
Great point. I'll have to come back another time and with more evidence, Mike. Thank you for letting me up, man.
Great. Thank you.
Hello.
Hey, what do you got?
My argument is kind of shaky, I'm not gonna lie, but it goes something like this. God and the moralities of God exist in a community which has kids, and the influence of God is 100% real. And my question, or not my question, but my statement, I guess, is that something that influences something must be real in that it left its mark.
Yeah, really shaky. I don't know what you just said. I don't have any lifelines. I can't really call a friend here. Can you elaborate more on what that means?
Yeah, so I'm gonna say that God is as real as any person who put forth a board of ethics or like axiomatic ethics system. So for example, there's like this German dude named Immanuel Kant who has these few rules of what's right and wrong. He's like, one should not lie, a bunch of other things, right? So people believe this, and then when they have kids, I believe that Kant's spirit is existing with those people and their children because they subscribe to the views and then pass them on.
Many theologians of the past believe in all kinds of ridiculous things. I know Aquinas believed in weird ghosts and that would inject semen in people. The philosophers of the past thought of many ridiculous notions. The problem is that if you're going to say morality is evidence of God, if this is what you're really trying to say here, we don't need God for morality. I mean, we can understand morality through our minds. Our brains can produce a sense of empathy for others, and from that we can decide what is good or bad.
Or even a concept of what is good has been birthed through this playing field of what's good and bad, which has been given to us by religion. So you can say that you're separate from it.
Religion
Has been the demarcating factor of what's good and bad for the past several centuries.
Religion advocates for slavery. Do you think slavery is good?
No, I do not.
There you go. Your point has been collapsed, right? Debunked.
We can distance ourselves.
Because that's evidence that we don't get morality from religion. It shows us that there's other factors at play. I'm not saying religion has no play in this, but the point is that morality predates even humans. Other animals have morality. Elephants help their young and they help each other cross rivers. Monkeys share food with each other. They sacrifice. Monkeys can sacrifice themselves for others. There is a big sense of moral agency in other animals that is nothing innate to humans. But also, like I said before, religion in its own, by itself, does not dictate morality at all. It doesn't have to. You have yet to show that it does.
I agree with you that religion doesn't dictate reality, but here's the thing, right? So I'm going to say God is imaginary, but yet God influences us really.
How? How does he influence us?
Because of the fact that other people around us follow him and enforce and re-indoctrinate us without our consent.
So just because people follow something, that means it's real? So if I follow unicorns and leprechaun, does that mean that they're real because I follow their doctrine?
They have real influences on your psyche and thus everyone else you're around.
That's not God. That's just a belief, right? You can believe in God, yet that God not be real.
Yes, your belief in God influences everyone else. I still think that God is imaginary, but I still think that if God is now having an influence,
we're done. We're done. Very tired of this nonsense. God's imaginary, but he's real because we believe in it. I hate these arguments.
Hello? Yeah, I got the real evidence that you're looking for.
Great, man. What do you got?
All right, so 3.5 years ago, clouds appeared at my apartments. I have 1,000 videos. Some of them up on my page right now. But the clouds started coming at my apartments, and then they followed me to my home. I have over 1,000 videos of the clouds of heaven flying in and out my home, a voice of an angel speaking to me on live recording so all can hear it. It's on my page, posted right now, just posted it tonight. And the clouds have been doing this for 3.5 years, bro.
What is this? Sir, what is this? Super Mario Brothers with the cloud guy?
That's me, man. That's me. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And it's amazing because I was a Christian and the clouds of heaven told me to stop being a Christian. They said that Jesus Christ is not the Lord of the world. That's what they told me. They said everybody that's a Christian is following a false religion.
Did they tell you the cure to cancer?
They told me that God can cure all things. The Lord thy God is a healer.
Okay, great. So why doesn't he do it if he can?
Because he doesn't answer the prayers of the wicked. And if listen, I'm telling you, man, he doesn't.
Sir, how about babies that are dying of cancer?
So I got an answer for all of that. God said because men are evil and wicked. He said the sons are going to pay for the sins of the fathers.
A baby.
So,
sir.
Yes, that's what God says. That's what he said.
Okay, listen. So you think a baby should suffer from cancer because a father did something wrong?
God said that the children will grow up and become ungodly and evil.
Answer the question.
I'm answering it.
Do you think
God said he's going to kill the kids because they will grow up and be evil like their fathers. The fathers teach the children. So if you let them live, all right, listen. If you attack a people, listen. If you attack a
Oh my gosh. So what you're saying, guest, is that every baby that dies of cancer or has sickness is evil. This is what you just stated. So do you hold to that? Do you hold that every baby is evil because they're suffering? Yes or no? Oh wait, I don't think he knows how to unmute himself. Sir, can you unmute yourself, please? It's the mute button. Can you ask ask the clouds to help you? Sir, can you ask the clouds to help you find the button? Okay, maybe next time. All right, guys. Next victim here. Going down the board. Watch out, guys. Look for the clouds. They're coming. They're all around us, guys. Keep your eyes peeled for the clouds. Any moment, they could be raining down. Hello? Yeah, that's it. Yep, this is going to be the YouTube title for tomorrow. Christian believes in clouds. Talking clouds.
Yo, what's up, dude?
Hey, what do you got?
Can we go back to your morality argument real quick?
Okay.
So, what do you believe in, first of all? Like, do you believe in the Big Bang?
The Big Bang happened, yes. We have evidence for it.
Okay, so what is the point of life then if everything in life was an accident, right? Because that's what it actually is. It's an accident. It just happened randomly, right?
No.
So what is the
No,
point of living?
not right. No, no, it's not either random or nothing. There's something called determinism, and things are determined to happen this way. It's not random. It's not an accident, right? Because an accident implies that the universe could have been otherwise. But we don't know that. The universe could have been the only one possible, hence 1 out of 1. The chance of us being here are 100%, right? So there could be a deterministic reason why we exist. But when it comes to why we exist or the purpose of our existence, well, why does there have to be a purpose for our existence? Because if you say God exists, what's God's purpose for existing? Why does God exist?
I don't follow. I mean, I'm just kind of thinking about your point. I have an open mind, of course, right? I'm a Christian, but how can we trust our own thought process if there's no God, first of all?
Because our thought processes can be verified by observations. So if I think that there's a cloud that can talk to me, I observe reality and I look at the clouds and go, yep, it doesn't fucking talk to me. Maybe that thought was wrong.
Then how do our thoughts from our observations stem from morality? Let's take the morality stand approach. How do we know what is good?
Morality is a systematic
Is
way.
it all a social concept, a social construct? Do we just make our own reality of what is right and wrong?
Can I speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was finishing my point.
So morality is a systematic way we use to evaluate the consequences to our actions. If I punch you in the face, it hurts. And I can recognize your behavior and your response to that pain. And I can go, wait a minute, look at how they behaved. Look at how they responded. They didn't like it.
Why is that wrong?
Let me not do it again, because I could put myself in their shoes with my empathy and recognize that they don't want that to happen, just as I don't want it to happen to me. That's what the basic foundation of a moral framework is. It's understanding each other and the consequences to your actions, using your empathy and your logic. That's it. There's nothing required for that process to happen. There's no God needed for morality.
So basically what you've said is you've taken God's objective morality and you've implemented it into your own thought process. So for example, let's take it back to when World War II. Hitler killed a bunch of Jews, millions of Jews. Why is that wrong for him to think like that? Without having
because he harmed people.
Why is it wrong for Hitler to kill a bunch of Jews?
Because he took their lives away, sir, and we value lives as human beings. I don't need God to know that.
Why was it not wrong for him? If there is no God,
it was wrong. It wasn't wrong to him because he was a crazy person. He was a madman. But the rest of us recognize that there was wrong being done because it harms people and because they died. That's why it's wrong.
But why is it wrong for people to be killed?
Because I don't want myself
what is objectively wrong.
Because I like my life and I enjoy other people's lives and I don't want to take them away.
But he obviously did not care enough about other people's lives because he didn't care, right? There was no objective morality.
Yeah, that was his opinion, sir. That was his opinion. That was Hitler's opinion.
And then that's also your opinion, isn't that correct?
No, my opinion is different than Hitler's. I think he was absolutely wrong. I think he was absolutely wrong. I don't need God to know that. I don't need God to have that opinion.
Well, of course it's objectively wrong, but the point is we need an objective standard.
Why?
Right? We are all living in a subjective perspective.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
But how do we live our lives subjectively? How do we know what is objectively truth?
Why do we need objective truth when it comes to morality?
So we know what to follow, what is right and wrong. Because at the end of the day, if we have no God deciding us for our own thoughts,
we can do that subjectively.
Yes, but then we're going to be led astray.
What do you mean?
Subjectivism will lead us astray one day. That's why God tells us to not lean on our own understanding.
No. Look. Why can't we live in a society where we all have subjective morality, but we come together, we talk to each other, we make up laws coexisting with each other in society that, lead to what we think or want to happen for that society? we can work together to act and do things that make the life better for all of us. That's what morality does. That's what morality means. I don't need objectivity for that. I don't need God to tell me what's right or wrong. I don't need to read a Bible to know that it's wrong to murder. That is something I can come to my own understanding by looking at the consequences to my actions. There does not need to be objectivity.
I just don't understand how you can make that assumption yourself.
Because I have a brain.
Yeah, but who created your brain?
Nobody.
Nobody did. So it was an accident.
No, it was determined to happen because of laws of nature.
So the Big Bang made something so specific like love, affection.
No, the Big Bang is not an object.
It's not even created by the Big Bang. You're saying
the Big Bang did not create anything. Nothing was ever created. The Big Bang is merely the expansion of space-time. But the point is that there was matter and energy in the universe, and over time it has changed. And these chemical changes enabled over time things like life to evolve, and we emerged due to the laws of nature. The Big Bang is not some magic man like you think. You think, sir, you think there was a magic man who went poof.
Well, he's not magic. No.
And in 6 days, all the life and all love magically appeared. That's what you believe. By accident. Some God made us by accident.
It was an accident. He had a purpose for us.
What was that? What's the purpose for us?
To spread the word of God so that we can all have one big family into heaven. How is that crazy story?
Why didn't God just make us go to heaven in the first place? Why did he bring us here to this hellhole?
Free will.
We can still have free will in heaven.
Well, that's not how it really works, first of all. You can't sin in heaven.
So we don't have free will in heaven.
Well, no, our own faith and works on earth lead us to go to heaven.
heaven? So we're just robots forever?
Well,
hello, God,
pardon?
I love you.
We're not robots in heaven, first of all.
You. Worship God. Yes, Almighty. That's our future. That's terrible.
It's like you're saying it's a bad thing to love God and be with God. How is that a bad thing?
Well, forever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
So would you rather be in hell forever or in heaven forever? I'd
rather be in a world where there are challenges that we have to overcome, but also good things that we get to do on our own fruition, and not be like some fucking slave to a magic wizard who thinks we have to worship them forever. That's ridiculous. I'd rather be in a place like Earth where there is a lot of bad, but a lot of good, right? There are things we can. There's progression.
Sure, we can do whatever we want, but we're gonna die at some point on Earth. We're gonna die. That's the point.
See, look. The problem is that you're saying that we have to get to heaven, right? The heaven is the end goal. But
being with God's the end goal.
God is omnipotent and can do anything. He could have actualized that from the get-go. God could have made us there from the beginning. There's no need for all this stuff in between. That's the problem. Whereas naturalism, right, without a God, that is way more better at explaining why we exist here, because we just are. We just happen to be here, and that's it. There's nobody doing it. And all the bad and good are just things that we don't like or do like.
Okay, so
your belief cannot explain why we're not in heaven.
Where do you think we're going to go after we die?
The ground.
The ground. So what is the point of living?
To love.
To love.
And to help each other.
Why? What's the point of loving then if you're going to die?
Well, we get to experience this thing, this amazing thing for this time being. And the fact that this life is finite. Hold on, sir, hold on. The fact that this life is finite makes it rare. And because it's rare, it's valuable, right? The fact that we have one chance, one opportunity to love and help each other and make the world a better place before we die drives me every day to make it a better place before I die. And in fact, I don't want to live forever. That'd be kind of boring after a while. I want to live my life. I want to do the best I can now. And if there's a God, if there is no God, whatever. But I did my best now.
No, sir.
And purpose, I can make it on my own. I don't need to look for purpose. I can produce purpose by helping other people, by making their lives a better place and a better life. That's what purpose is. We don't have to wait for God to give it to us. We can make it on our own.
I think first of all, I need you to keep an open mind, okay? Because I feel like you're just really closing your heart right now and not taking in any things I'm saying. First off,
Good.
That your opinion was very just selfish because you're saying that we can do everything we want to and we choose to live the way we want, which is true. Yeah, we can. But if we choose to live without God and go against God, we go to hell, right? That's our doing. God does not send anybody to hell. We send ourselves to hell.
God is like a burglar, right? Pointing
He's not a burglar at all. He's a savior. He saves us.
Hold on. God is a burglar. Here's why. God is putting a gun to our faces and saying, "You better believe in me, or I'm gonna shoot."
That's what Satan does. I think you got it mixed up.
No, this is what God does. God created this universe. He threw us in here without our free choice to do it. He just pushed us into this world and says, "You better believe in me, or I'm gonna shoot you." And we're like, "Oh no, okay, might as well believe in God, right?" God is like coercing us into believing in Him. He's saying, "Give me your money, or I'm going to shoot you." And what I'm doing is saying, "No, I don't want to give you my money. I don't want to give you my money." And then God says, "Oh, okay. Well, your choice to die," right? That isn't suicide. I didn't choose to die. The burglar coerced me into that situation in the first place, just like God. God forced us to be here. He put us in this ridiculous situation where we have to choose to love or burn. That's not a choice. That's not freedom. That's coercion. That's an evil, demented God forcing us to love him because he's too fucking lonely. Go ahead.
One last point, because like with the baby thing, remember that like about half an hour ago? I was still here for that. I was watching your live. With like babies going to heaven immediately after death. Do you recall that?
I like how you didn't respond to what I just told you, but okay, go ahead. Keep deflect.
Okay, hold on. I'll respond to that first. I got you. All right.
Then, do you know what it means to be in heaven? What is heaven? If you're talking about heaven and hell, then what does it mean to be in hell?
Your heaven is my hell. If your heaven includes worshiping God forever, that's hell to me.
So, hell actually is the absence of God. And God is so loving that he gives us the choice to be in his presence or out of his presence.
Is
if
God
we choose
everywhere?
to be in his presence forever, let me finish, we will be in heaven. If you choose to not be in his presence, you're in hell. And even C.S. Lewis said, the gates of hell are locked on the inside. Why are you saying stop? I'm making my point.
Because you're wrong.
You just talked for the last 3.5 minutes.
Well, I'm going to debunk you right now again for the third time. So, is
You
God
just cut
everywhere?
me off. So I mean, if you want to have a monologue on a live in front of 2,000 people, you can do that. But you invited me on.
Can you just be quiet for a second? Okay. So, okay. Is God everywhere?
Yes, he's everywhere.
Okay, great. Is God in hell?
Hell is the absence of God. You
But
can't.
I thought God was
make me
everywhere.
careful
I
with my
thought
words
God was
here.
everywhere, though.
Hell is the absence of God. What is darkness? No, what is darkness?
I thought God was everywhere. How is he
What is
absent?
darkness?
No.
What is
Sir,
darkness?
How can God be absent if he's everywhere?
What is darkness?
Sir,
No, can you answer
how
that?
can God...
What is darkness? Can you answer that
That's
question?
irrelevant, sir. Can you answer what I just
Because
told
God
you?
is the light.
What?
God is light.
Okay.
Genesis says that.
How can there be
Genesis says, God,
darkness?
I am the light. I'm the light of the world.
How can there be darkness if God is light and light is everywhere?
You're asking a very hypothetical question.
Sir,
Darkness is the absence of light.
How can God be everywhere but be absent in certain places?
It's called absence for a reason, because darkness is the absence of light. Heaven is the absence. Hell is the absence of God.
Okay. Is God, and you just said God is everywhere.
Yes.
Including hell.
How can God be everywhere but be absent at the same time? That makes literally no sense.
That's your logic. This is your logic. This is your point. This is the point I'm trying to tell you.
He is absent. I don't understand the point you're making. If he is absent, he is absent because hell is the absence of God.
Sir, is God present in hell?
How can God be present in hell if it is a separation from God?
Then he's not everywhere. Then God is not everywhere. Then God is not everywhere.
We are sent to hell if we do not follow God because we are in the absence of God.
Have a good day. I think you're just displaying some cognitive dissonance because you can't fathom being wrong. And this is what I battle with every day with Christians and theists. They just don't want to be wrong. And that's okay. That's a human thing to be. But the problem is that your belief in God and your unwillingness to be wrong is wreaking havoc on society in many ways. It's stopping people from having rights, telling people that they deserve to die and burn, telling people that we're no good without God. We have no purpose without God. That is sad. Keep tapping, guys. Everybody, please subscribe to my YouTube. Go ahead, please subscribe. I have all my debates there. I have all of my great content, science videos, vegan videos. I have all my stuff there. Please go ahead, subscribe. Link in bio to my YouTube. Thank you. All right, next victim.
I'm not a victim. Hey Mike, I appreciate where you're coming from, man, and I got nothing to prove. I ain't trying to prove I'm right or I'm wrong or nothing, none of that stuff. I came in here because the biggest thing that I notice on your lives is like you're putting somebody in like a trap. It's like and you're coming at them, and it's like it's a little intense. Like on like it's more nuanced than that.
Yeah.
Like belief's a big deal.
No, it's actually not. It's actually not, right?
It's not a big
my
deal?
fault that people attach themselves to their beliefs, and it becomes intense when they're wrong. That's not my fault.
Wait, hold on. Do you think that there's a lot of people that believe things and they don't represent it correctly. They make a mess of it. It's not intellectually correct. There's contradictions, there's all that stuff. But do you honestly think that all of them are delusional?
I think the vast majority of people who believe in God are absolutely delusional.
The vast majority. So vast majority is that 75%?
Yeah, around that number. Yes.
Okay. All right. So the biggest thing that I want to leave with you, and it's not because I need to be right. That's not where I'm coming from. There's experiences that people have, like people have DMT experiences, people have religious experiences.
Great. So do you have evidence for God or not before I kick you?
Evidence. I would like to think that the change, like the removing of the veil and the change in what I see and don't see is an example of, but I'm only one person. So it's like, so like if you have like a bunch of people and a bunch of them say, oh, I had an experience, like you can't.
All right. That's delusional. You're part of the 75%. Next. Oh. Okay. Hey, what do you got?
Hey, Mike. How you doing, man?
Tired. What do you got?
All right. First, I just want to say what you said about living life is beautiful. I respect that. But here's why I think God is an imaginary. I personally think, in my personal experiences, that if God was imaginary, then I would have your big balls swinging across my face like fucking pendulums, all across my face like pendulums.
Was that supposed to be funny or something? I forgot the joke. Hey, what do you got?
Okay, I just have a question for you. Right, you said that anyone that believes in God is delusional, or half the persons that believe in God is
I said the
delusional.
majority of look.
Oh,
The
majority.
majority of
Okay.
people. When I say delusional, I don't mean in a negative way necessarily. I mean that they believe in something when there's no good reason to believe in something, and by that definition, that's delusional, right? And they're willingly doing that. I'm not saying that in a bad way that there's something wrong with them, but I'm just saying that people tend to believe in God for bad reasons.
Okay, no problem. That's your own belief. All right. So you say you don't believe that there is a God. God is imaginary. Now, if you stand on that belief, then what about evolution? Do you then agree with scientists that humans evolved from monkeys?
That's not evolution. You're talking about Power Rangers, like Morphin Time. This isn't Morphing Time, right? We don't come from monkeys. We share common ancestry with them about 50 million years ago. And evolution is a verifiable, repeatable fact of reality. We can observe it in the fossil record, in our DNA, and in lab experiments. We are apes. We are apes today. And this is something we know for a fact. And just because evolution, you don't understand it, doesn't mean God exists.
Okay. Well, if you don't believe that, in that, as you said, Power Ranger theory, then how do you explain humanity? How did we come about?
We evolved. Humanity shares common lineage with all living beings on the planet, from bacteria to fish to all these things. If you go back far enough in the DNA records, we find evidence that we share lineage with all living beings. Life itself is a chemical process. Starts with abiogenesis, right? These RNA molecules, these lipid molecules, these amino acids, they come together in certain ways. They interact chemically and yield living beings like us. It's an amazing process.
Okay.
But it's not God. It's just physics.
Okay. If we're a part of this unique design, as you said, these many cells, and we evolved into this being, then there had to be some place that these beings before us came from.
Perhaps we're always there, right? So when we say matter and energy in the universe, that's the stuff that we're made of, right? The molecules of carbon and stuff we're made of. All these things could have existed in some primordial state, some state that existed before us, in the form of matter and atoms. And these atoms, when they interact in certain ways, yield things like us over time. And we're talking billions of years, right? The universe is 14 billion years old. A lot of cosmic evolution precedes us. So the point is that if you understand science, you recognize that there is a vast sequence of events that led to us today. And there's lots of research on this, and there's tons of evidence, and this is the entire point of science, to understand our past and where we're going.
Right. But there is evidence that Jesus existed. There is historical evidence that Jesus.
No,
I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not. I'm just going to state that fact, and you can research it yourself. But there is historical evidence that Jesus existed. Even Muslims who don't favor Christians.
Okay, well, I don't care about a guy.
Confirm that Jesus
well,
existed.
I frankly don't care about a guy who died on a stick. I want evidence of a God.
But if there is evidence of this Christ that existed, that did these miracles, then it would therefore prove the existence of this God.
So give
that
the
you
evidence,
believe is
give the
imaginary.
evidence that he walked on water, and give the evidence that he turned his body into bread like a muffin man. Go ahead.
Well, if there is evidence that this man existed, then there's evidence that he also did perform these miraculous
No,
these
just because
miraculous
somebody
things.
existed doesn't mean that they perform miracles, okay? That's a big statement you just made. Just because somebody existed, like Abraham Lincoln, doesn't mean that he actually, turned into a zombie like the movies.
Right. But if you believe in this evolution of us from things that you wasn't aware of until you gained your consciousness. So how can you believe in things that you were not aware of before, but as soon as Christians post their belief to say, this is a God I believe in, he existed before even the world, it's then ludicrous or preposterous, or that's delusional.
Because we've learned since 2,000 years ago, man, we know that donkeys don't talk no more. We know that there was no Noah's Ark and Adam and Eve. So when we recognize...
The Bible doesn't say animals talked, or unless you're being sarcastic.
Numbers 22.
There was nowhere in the Bible that
Yes,
said...
there was. It's in Numbers 22. It says that donkeys talk to a person in like Aramaic language, a human language.
There was no... Well, if you want to stand behind that, you stand behind that. But there's no verse in the Bible that talks about animals speaking to humans.
Numbers 22:28. Literally, that's the verse. Go look it up, okay?
Okay, but you're standing on the basis that we evolved from apes. And then some point in evolution, the thing that created humans stopped evolving, and so humans can now create themselves.
No, this is your ignorance on evolution. Nothing stopped evolving. That's ridiculous. Everything is evolving, just as we are and all the other apes. There's nothing magical about us being humans. I know it feels like we're great or special, but we're not.
But
So
if we haven't stopped evolving, then why aren't we progressing from the state that we're in now? Nothing has really changed about us,
Phenotypically,
apart from
yes.
just us gaining
Man, we
knowledge
have
over time.
we've developed lactase enzymes to help digest certain milks. We've evolved different skin colors, melatonin, right? Melanin. We have evolved many different features phenotypically in the past 10,000 years. That's evolution happening before our eyes that you just don't understand because you're ignorant on the science.
I'm not ignorant on the science. I'm
Okay,
just.
great. Then what is evolution? Then what's evolution mean to you?
I don't believe in evolution.
What is evolution?
But I don't believe in it, so I can't really give you my take on
So
something that I don't
exactly. So
believe
you
in.
don't know what the fuck it is. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're just being dishonest. Okay.
I'm not being dishonest. Where
Then
I
what's
live, we were.
evolution mean? Then what does evolution
Where
mean?
I live in
Then what does
science class,
evolution
we were
mean?
taught that humans evolved from monkeys, and that's the basis of evolution.
No,
That over
that's
time
wrong. You
we
don't know
gained
what it is.
intelligence and
You
our
don't know what
appearance
evolution
changed.
means.
Well,
No, you don't know what evolution means. Go learn something. Go learn some science.
Hello.
Hey, what do you got?
Okay, I'm like, your chat is scaring me. Everyone's like going for her neck. Okay, so your debate here is that God isn't a thing.
Yeah, how
Okay,
old are
I'm
you?
seeing that. I'm
How old?
18,
What year were you born?
2005, September 25th. Y'all want like details. Okay, this is not a child. Do you want to see my ID?
No.
I'm talking to the chat. You guys are scary. Like, shut the fuck up. Okay. Okay, hold on. I'm getting in here. So, what is your debate? Do you mind like going over that for a second?
I just want evidence of God.
Okay. Let me gather my thoughts here. So, you said something like we evolved from apes, right?
Yes.
In the past
No, we
debate?
are apes right now.
Okay, and I can see that, and I can somewhat, wrap my head around that because I do believe that we did evolve from
Great. So
that
what's
as
your evidence
well.
of your magic sky daddy?
Okay. I wouldn't say call it magic sky daddy, but okay.
The magic father, your magic father that you believe in.
Have you ever walked into a worship that Christians, any religion does? Do you know what a worship is?
A worship or a warship?
A worship. Like, have you ever seen them in like at church?
Battleship? Like a battleship?
No, like at
Or
church.
church. Okay, a worship. Okay. Yeah, I've been to a church, yeah. What's the point?
Okay. And what did you feel at that church?
What did I feel?
Like, did you feel anything within that?
I mean, I heard the choir, I saw the lighting, I saw the pews, I saw the priest, I heard his voice. It felt good. It was a good experience. Why?
Because I feel like God is not a he or a she. God is just the creator. And what a lot of spiritual people call it, that isn't within a religion, is source. That the world itself, space, ocean, all had to be created by an energy, whatever that may have been.
But energy can't be created.
Energy is energy.
Right. It's not created, right? Like the energy in the universe could have always existed.
But you don't think that there's something behind that?
No, what's your evidence of that?
Okay. Obviously, there's no, math equation to the evidence. Like, there's nothing
You're
that,
really not, I'm sorry, but you're not making any sense, right? You're just yapping right now, honestly. Do you have any actual evidence of your magic god before I kick you?
I think you should pick up the Bible and
Okay.
maybe read it.
What verse proves God? the talking donkeys, Noah's Ark, the impossible ship, being made from clay. Is that the verse that proves God? What else? Let me see. Levitical law, where you can own slaves and
I
beat
feel
them.
like you have a lot of ignorance, respectfully.
Me?
Yeah, because
Me?
either way, you're still mocking people's beliefs. And you can do this debate respectfully in a sense where you're not being disrespectful to what people believe in.
Ma'am, it's a belief. It's not personal. It's logical. I don't care about your belief. Your belief is bad. Get over it.
So what
Right?
do you say? So what do you believe in? What is
Facts.
your
I
stand?
believe in facts, whatever can be supported by evidence. I don't believe in magic talking donkeys. I don't.
If that's your summary of the Bible, then you clearly don't know anything about the Bible.
Ma'am,
Talking donkeys?
the Bible
So
is
for real.
a
He's so
fairy
for
tale.
real. What? Talking donkeys? Okay.
Yes. Numbers 22.
So are you an atheist, a Satanist? Like what's your
Ma'am, come on. You know I'm an atheist. This is getting ridiculous now. Before I kick you, what's your evidence? One more chance. I want to give you one more chance.
Oh my
One
God.
more chance.
Have you ever had a loved one die?
Yeah.
Okay, and where do you think they go? What do you think happens after they pass
The
away?
casket, and then they go away and rot away.
You don't think
it's like that. That's just how it seems to be. That I've never seen somebody in a casket go, "Hey guys, I'm back. I'm alive now. I was just kidding." That never happened. Once they're dead, they don't come back.
Okay. So do you think we're just like flesh? Like you don't think there's any like energy behind us, a soul behind us?
Nope, no soul. Let me check. Nope, no soul. I don't see one.
Okay. All right.
Look,
You
I
can
know
kick
this
me
makes you
because
sad.
I'm
Look.
arguing
I know
with
this
someone
makes you
who's
sad. Look.
clearly ignorant. Like,
Yeah,
you really
that's
think
because
your loved one is just like their energy, their soul doesn't go anywhere? You don't think they're hanging out with you
look, guys, look. I know
in the
it's
spiritual?
so.
You don't think they're doing anything?
Bree, look, I know it's so appealing to think that the loved ones that I loved that have passed are in some magical land where it's better, where it's great, and they're happy and they're great. But that's such a thing that humans love to think about. It doesn't make it real. It's something we want to be true, right? And I'm after the truth. Unfortunately, people tend to believe in things that feel good, not are logically sound. That's typically what happens. People don't like to believe in things that make them feel bad. That's why you feel bad right now, because you're like, oh, he thinks that we just die and go nowhere. Yeah, and it's better. The sooner
Okay.
you realize the fact of reality, the sooner
Words in
off
my
it will
mouth.
be
I
better.
don't feel bad right now.
Okay.
I
So
just
then,
think it's a little silly that you think we don't evolve after life. What do you think? Do you think we're just born and we're here to just be like
yeah, and that
losers?
makes life precious. Guys, life is the most precious thing in the world because we're
Oh.
only get one chance. We only get one shot at this. That makes it so amazing that we're here, able to breathe, think, have beating hearts, able to love, able to see things and observe things in this mere 80 years of existence. That is amazing because there's no God, but because we are naturally here. That's amazing. That's incredible. And adding God to the equation just makes things boring. Why would you want to go to heaven and just be in the same place forever like a zombie going, yes, God, we love you, God. I'd rather exist for this mere moment, being a rare entity in the universe. Amazing experience. I don't care about the future. I care about the now. That's all that matters. Helping my friends, my family, loving other people, making life better for us today. I don't give a shit about a God. We can make our own purpose. I don't need to sit there and wait for it to get to me with God. I can make it my own. That's the beauty of life.
Okay, so would you say you're a good person? Do you believe
I
that you
pay
do
my
good things?
taxes. Yeah, I try to do the best. Yeah.
So do you believe that you Like if when you look in the mirror, you don't think you're a terrible, shitty person. Like you believe that you're a good person.
Yeah. Why?
Honestly, I don't. Taking away the beliefs from everything, if
What?
you're a good person and you stand by good morals and you're overall just a wealthy person within your soul and how you present yourself, you are walking within God. Because that's all God is love. So
Okay.
I'm not even gonna
So do
argue
you
with
believe in the
you
Bible?
even though you're
Do you
ignorant.
believe the Bible is true?
I don't believe that everything in the Bible is right.
Okay.
I believe that
When
I
God
believe
flooded the
that there have
ma'am,
been things that have been
ma'am,
changed and
Bree,
twisted.
hold on, Bree. Okay. When
Okay.
God flooded the planet, he killed everybody, right? In the flood, the big fucking flood. Do you believe that?
He didn't kill everybody.
Except for Noah, right?
And he gathered all the animals.
Right. So God killed everybody except for Noah and his family, right? Okay. So do you recognize that there are people that were pregnant during the flood and they had babies? You know that, right? There's likely people that were pregnant during that time.
Go on, what's your point?
When God flooded the planet and killed those pregnant people, was that good? Was that love?
I'm sorry. Reiterate that. I was reading the chat.
Can you pay attention, man? When God flooded
Sorry.
when God flooded the world and killed people that were pregnant and innocent babies, was that love?
In a form, yeah. I believe so. I genuinely
That
in
was
my
love?
heart.
That was Brie, come on. You think it's love to kill people? That's love.
No, that's not what I'm.
See, this is the problem. When you say God is love, it sounds cute, but the problem is that when we look at your actual beliefs, there's a contradiction there, right? This is the problem. It is so easy to say God is love, but the problem is it's contradictory when we look further into your beliefs. This is why I don't think God exists, because there's many contradictions in what you believe.
Okay. I think that sometimes you do have to make hard decisions. And if God had to do that
Ma'am,
for the
he's
better
God. Just to
good
do
of
it,
the
ma'am,
world as
he's
itself,
God. Man,
to
Bree,
reset,
man, Bree, just put your thinking cap on right now.
then that's what had to be done. Like
Put
love
your
isn't
thing.
always
No,
fucking like
hold
rainbows and
on.
butterflies. Sometimes you have to just
Bree, this isn't Rocky. Look, just because, God is God. He's all powerful. He can do anything. God could have made a world where there's no flood. God could have made a world where there's no bad or evil. He could have done that.
okay.
But he chose to make one where there is evil, where he did have to flood the planet. Why did God do this?
Let me gather myself.
Okay, maybe you could gather yourself somewhere else, okay?
Okay. Be ignorant for the rest of your life. Have fun.
Wow, really, Bree? You're gonna call me ignorant? Me?
I mean, you're the one that started with the attacking to begin with. This could have been peaceful, but
I attacked what? Your belief. Big fucking deal.
okay,
It's a
but you
belief.
can do that. No, you can do that in a respectful way.
How do I disprove your belief in a respectful way? Your belief is just wrong. How can I be respectful about that? It's wrong. What do you want? You want everything sugar coated? You want, oh, it's perfect. Just tell me it's wrong in a nice way. Okay. Bree, your belief, it's just a little bit incorrectamundo. It's not that bad. It's just a little incorrect. I can't, that's ridiculous. It's wrong.
Okay.
Move on. Get over it. It's a fucking
Okay.
belief. That's it, right? It's that simple.
Go find God. Go find God. Because
Let
literally
me
nothing you're saying to me is bothering
let me
me.
get my telescope.
Nothing you're saying, nothing your chat is saying is bothering me.
God, where
Because
are you?
you have no stronghold on you. You have
God,
nothing.
I'm looking for God.
Okay.
Where is he? I don't see him yet.
You know that Satan even believed in God?
Really?
Yes, he
Wow.
fucking did. Yes,
No
he fucking
way.
did.
It must be real because it said so in a book.
Oh my god.
Well, Bree, thanks for being here.
Have a good one.
Have a good one, and see you next time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, I'm really tired. Everybody, please subscribe to my YouTube. Let's have one more guest in here.
Mike, I'm gonna put my balls in your I'm gonna put my balls on your eyes and make you blind, you little nigga.
Yeah, typical Christian. Hey, what do you got? Hello. Enigma?
Oh, yes. Oh, I wasn't expecting to be up this early. Hello. God is imaginary. So nothing material is with God? Is that your argument?
God is not a real entity. It's just a thought in the mind, like leprechaun.
Egregore? What is a God? What is God? What is the definition for God?
Typically, a definition of God is like a being who
Is there
creates
a
things.
universal definition that anyone can go
No,
off of?
no, that doesn't exist, right? But typically, when we say God, we mean a supreme being. That's what we mean. But that's why I'm an atheist, because that definition fails. Every definition of God fails.
Now, how does being look to someone? Can that be through an experience?
How does being look like?
Yes, you said being God.
That doesn't make any sense, sir.
Okay, let me slow down. So what is imagination? We have to define these terms here.
Imagination are thoughts.
Thoughts? So are you a thought?
No.
How can you prove it?
That hurt. Ow. I'm not, it wasn't a dream, sir. I'm right here.
So what would you
talking to-
define yourself as? What would you define yourself as in existence? What role do you play? And what are your limitations?
I'm an American.
A person. Sir, so these are just more thoughts you're using to identify an awareness that you have of existence.
Yeah, these are just
And
thoughts we have. These are descriptors for.
So what do you experience in your subjective life, and what do you experience in your objective life? Because there's obviously a clear distinction between the two, and this means that we have experiences we have with ourselves and experiences we have with other people, which are objective realities. And in this very paradox, it proves God's existence.
Okay, there are things we claim that are objective.
We will always
Sir, hold
find
on.
ourselves and
Hold on,
lose
sir. Hold on.
ourselves.
Look,
The self is God. I'm lagging like crazy.
Yeah, get your fucking Wi-Fi better. Okay. So I understand that there's subjective experiences, and then there are things we claim are objective, right? Like the sky being blue, right? These are objective claims we're making about reality. That has no bearing on whether or not there's a God. Just because we think that just because we have subjective experiences doesn't mean God exists. And you still haven't defined God, right? So go ahead, define God and define what it means to be God.
So God is essentially potential. Anywhere you can gain or identify potential.
So
God.
so right now, I'm about
to order.
So I'm about to take a shit. Does that mean that that's God, my shit, because I potentially can take a shit?
Yeah, that is God experiencing something.
Okay,
As
so
funny
God
as
is my
it sounds,
shit.
it was a pretty good joke. I'll give you that.
So
But
God's
it's
in my
true.
toilet getting
Even
flushed
experience is
down. Okay.
absurd as having
All
sex.
right, so have
God
a good
is with
day. God is shit. It's potential. The potential to shit. That was kind of a bad guess. Let's get the next victim. I mean, guest. Hello?
Okay, yeah, yeah. So my question for you is, so what's your like How do you think that life was created by itself? Please, like, just explain it to me.
Wow. So you want me to be Bill Nye right now? Okay. Life is a chemical process that emerges from non-life, and what that means is we have amino acids, we have RNA molecules. These are nucleotides, nucleic acids, made of nucleic acids, lipids form a bilayer. These are chemical sequences. When they come together, they form a protocell, which then has the ability to replicate and become something living. Life is a process, not an object. There's nothing about my body that makes me alive except for the fact that there's chemical interactions between all the things in my body, and they come together to form life.
How were these things created?
They weren't. They naturally occur in nature, right? Gases can make amino acids, lipids, all the things those can make.
How were the gases created?
Nothing was created. Nothing was ever created. Energy is always.
Wait, so it was just there, basically.
The energy and matter in the universe was always there, perhaps.
Okay. Is there any scientific, like, proven thing? Oh, energy was here since whatever long time ago.
It's a law of thermodynamics. Energy is neither created nor destroyed.
Okay. So my reason for God being real is, I guess, the formation of the cosmos. Every single thing. Like, let's say, like, the distance from the Earth to, actually, let's use science here. The solar nebula theory, right? So that's where the planets are created. There's dust everywhere. How was that created? Where did the dust come from? Where did all of that come from, right? Why is there a specific amount of distance from the Earth to the Moon? Why can't it just be infinite? Why can't it just be like blah blah blah? Like, how do these things match up? This, like, to me, the stars, Polaris, like the stretch from the North Pole, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, to me, there's a
So what makes
mastermind behind all of it.
Right. So what makes a solar system happen is a gas cloud that formed because of Big Bang nucleosynthesis. And what this means is at the Big Bang, the universe was condensed into a very small point, like the size of a grapefruit, and all that energy was compressed. And since there, it expanded. But in an expansion, some elements like hydrogen and helium yielded from this Big Bang nucleosynthesis. And all this gas and dust got expelled into the universe. And over time, gravity took a hold of it. Dark matter took a hold of this stuff. Those gas clouds condensed and collapsed due to gravity. They form disks due to angular momentum. They start spinning. And when you spin, things build up in the center. Mass built up in the center. All that dust and particles went to the center. It becomes a protostar. It gets heated, hot like a protostar. That protostar becomes a star as nuclear fusion begins at its core. And from that moment, stuff gets pushed outwards from that star. Oh, he left. And and planets emerge on the sides as fragments of material condense and precipitate and collide with each other, something called cold welding, that become planetesimals and then planets. And there's nothing special about our distance between us and the sun. It just happened to be that way because of gravity. There are many planets before us, by the way, like Theia, which collided with us. The early solar system was chaotic, but over time, the larger planets survived, right? Kind of like a natural selection of planets. And Earth survived, and Jupiter survived. The ones we know today, their orbits stabilized. The ones who had stable orbits survived. And that's what we have today. That's why we exist in this configuration today. And by the way, there were many other billions of star systems out there, like ours. There's nothing special about being 90 billion miles away from the sun, when there are many different possible configurations of star systems, each with their own distances, their habitability zones, many possibilities under many different conditions and parameters. There's nothing special about our planet. That's the point of this, is that there's nothing special about our planet. We only think that we're special. And that's the end of today's debate. Learn, live, love, learn. Whether or not God exists, my life will not change, because I don't need God to be a good person. I don't need God to enjoy life. I don't need God for purpose. I don't need God to love my family. I don't need God for any of that. And so far today, we see no evidence of God. And I've never seen any evidence for God. Nobody has ever given evidence for God. So I live my life. And I try to help other people as much as I can. Recognize that learning is an experience that can change us for the better.